that generally mean?
That means sit down and hush, yeah. Did you get
Sheriff, we'll call the meeting back to order. Sheriff, we'll invite you to the podium to share your requests with us.
Thank y'all for letting me come up here. As the sheriff for Covington County, I realize the needs of law enforcement, most especially in the unincorporated areas within the county. At this point, we've grown as a community, and we also see a huge influx of traffic, especially during the warm weather months, which is a majority of the year with the beach traffic. Our amount of service calls have increased. We answer close to 30,000 calls a year. And I want us to have the best law enforcement this county can possibly have, but it takes baby steps. As long as we are reactive, which at this point we try our best to be proactive, but we do react to a lot of calls that have already happened, calls that maybe we could have prevented. We do have a responsibility to be officers of the court and also officers of the law. And by that is we take responsibility for fatality crashes, reckless drivers, the influx of drugs in this community. They all have to come on a public highway. And as long as these drugs keep coming in, crooks are going to keep stealing and robbing from our citizens. And it will remain, and it will more than likely grow. I remember at times when we first opened up the Covington County Jail and how there would be maybe less than 100 people in there. We constantly keep it close to 200 now. If not, I think it's more than that. 12 just went up today, so I'm not real sure on the number. And response time to calls, they can be overwhelming. When you have a call that's on one end of the county and you have 2 deputies out and they're somewhere else, it makes that response time even more. As a proactive agency, we need more manpower that can actively search and find these crimes. Manpower that not only will react to a call but have the time to search out the calls and find a solution and act. We need officers that can spend more time on traffic enforcement. And we must take action to stop reckless drivers and get this dope off the road. It's coming in on the streets. Service of the courts is one of our main missions to the Sheriff's Office, and increasing failure to appear, civil papers, protection from abuse orders, also investigations and case file preparation are just a few things that these officers are tasked with. Also security of the courthouse, serving evictions, transport of inmates and mental commitments. The list is truly extensive. According to local statistics, the Covington County Sheriff's Office is the most short-handed agency that holds the most responsibility in Covington County. And I would like us to step up our efforts and work together to try to increase our manpower. In a perfect world, we would need 19 more deputies to be able to maintain what local standards are. I know better than that. That's a lot of officers, and that's a lot to bite off at one time. I understand that it may be too much for our county to provide at once, but I think that we could possibly handle 4 officers. It would be a positive step in the right direction and make us a lot more proactive. And ultimately, these officers, we can discuss more officers in the future. The cost of a deputy is about this is middle of the road. That's the only way I know to figure it out. It's about $67,000 a year, including this benefit package. And you have to think about vehicles and stuff too. But I wanted to tell y'all some statistics here. In Andalusia, they have 30 sworn officers, and they have a population of 8,810. So that means out of those officers, one officer for 293 people. They serve 19.7 square miles, which puts one officer responsible for 0.65 miles. The Covington County Sheriff's Office has a total of 27 sworn officers. We have a population of 18,474, and that's going to be in the not outside the city limits. What I did is I took our population and I subtracted the city limit population from all of it. Any city limit that had a police officer. So our population per officer is 684. We have 943 square miles, and it puts one officer per 35 square miles. And according to policescoreboard.org, we should have no less than 2.5 officers per 1,000 residents. With that standard, the CCO is behind the mark, and we need 46 officers to safely complete its mission. I counted all my officers, investigators, school resource officers. I threw them all in the mix because that's still our deputy, and they still serve part of the county. But I would really appreciate if you guys would consider hiring 4 officers. I'm willing to work it out any way that you guys see fit. I count on y'all's wisdom.
Would
Okay.
this be something we need to consider in the budget that's coming up?
I think that's why he's submitting it, because it's budget season.
It's getting close to budget time, and I want to make sure that we at least discuss this before we make any decisions on, before you guys make decisions on
You have,
on the budget.
So you have 27 certified officers now. That includes your investigative team, I guess all of your school
Everybody,
resources and your road deputies, maybe 1 or 2 up at the courthouse?
yes.
Okay. So you're talking
That's
about,
I'm slotted. I have 27
you're
slots.
talking about a 15% increase in your current
How many
certified
road
officers.
deputies do you have?
I have 12 that are on the road.
And you have 27 total.
The 4 that you're asking for would be road deputies?
Road
or some of
deputies.
those are school resource?
They would be road deputies. I'm asking for 4 road deputies.
And normally on a weeknight or weekend night, whatever, how many deputies are in the county?
2, sometimes 3. Sometimes 3. We work the best we can with our schedule and everything, and you got to give the guys their off days if they ask for annual leave and schools and things like that. Those things have to be considered. I've worked with a skeleton crew my entire career. Even as a highway patrolman, we never had enough to cover, but highway patrol only covered basically 8 in the morning till midnight. They always went on call after midnight. We don't have that luxury. Not that, and I don't even want it, because we need to have an officer out there ready to go when these things go bad.
The 2 new ones that are going to training, will that be included in the 4 you need?
No, ma'am. Those are some that we had already had, and we do have another position that is open right now, and I just spoke to a young man, and he's going to be a good one, that we'll hire him as well. So these are in addition to what we have, so it would bring it from 27 to 31.
So this is a request that really will be considered, I think, more appropriately at budgeting, in the budgeting process. So any other questions for the sheriff on this? Lynn? Tom?
What we did require, those like vehicles.
That's something else we'll have to think about. That we'll have to have 4 vehicles. However, we are hoping to get some new vehicles next year, and we're going to take what we have and we're going to make do with it until the time comes. I don't see an expenditure of vehicles just right off the bat. I don't.
Any other questions? All right, what else, Sheriff? Anything else?
That's all I have, and I appreciate y'all's time and consideration.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Consider purchase of equipment, page 52 through 56. Commissioners, I think Karen has information on that.
We recently received funds from an opioid settlement. Right now, we currently have $316,110 on that settlement. With that, I'd like to see, the uses of that funding is really restricted, but I'd like for y'all to consider to purchase 2 True Narc detection machines that actually can take a bag of drugs and it will tell you what all's in that bag of drugs. So it will help protect the officers against fentanyl and different things like that that they're coming in contact with. And maybe then they would handle it a different way or
So
do
that's a
something.
request on behalf, really on behalf of the Sheriff's Department for
Well,
benefit, but it's through these
opioid
funds that
settlement.
are specific.
And in addition to that, I'd like to consider respirators for each of the deputies because of the different, there's different theories on how the drugs interact with the person. Some say you get it through inhaling it, others say that touching it, so you just have different beliefs on how it actually comes about, but I would prefer to treat it all as with cautious and protect our deputies.
Yes, ma'am. I'd also like to mention that we had a near scare the other night. It didn't involve our officer. Actually, one of them was my officer, but he was working for another department, Lockhart. And they had a fentanyl exposure. Luckily, nothing really came of it. Turned out one of the officers had heat exhaustion. However, we did have a state trooper, not luckily, it was actually up in Macon County, that was transporting someone, and that person went into a fentanyl crisis, and so did the state trooper. And it took 8 vials of Narcan to get that state trooper up and going so he could get to the hospital.
Okay.
Fentanyl is a very real threat in this area.
So,
And,
so the request that Karen submitted is reasonable and would certainly be of benefit to your department.
yes, sir.
And I would love for us to see work with Susan, with EMA, and do a policy so that instances like that may have been prevented had different measures been taken.
What's the total,
The machines are about
Expenditure.
30,000 each, and I'd like to purchase 2.
so 60?
They're few and far between in the state of Alabama. I think they had to bring someone from Coffee County last time, I think, or somewhere to bring the machine
And
in.
by us having these machines, we would also offer their services for the rest of the county. If let's say the Gant PD had something they wanted to ID on the flight, we could go up there and take care of it.
All right. And then what's the cost on the masks?
Respirators, there's different types of them, but the ones that we had been recommended to us, it goes by how many you get, we would be probably about $17 or $18 each.
Okay.
And I think every deputy should have one of those in a vehicle. Of course, there are filters that go with that, so you will have additional.
The total expenditure is just probably under 70,000, 75, is that of all that you've asked for?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners, y'all heard the,
Right now, we have 316,000.
I just make sure. I
And
heard
there's
that.
still money coming in off of that settlement. It's just, it's so restricted in how you can use it, and so I think there's one category that this will fit under. Reviewed it with the settlement attorney and different ones, trying to make sure that we can use those funds in that manner, but everyone I've talked with seems that this is appropriate.
so the funding she's referring to came to us through an opioid settlement. We were invited as a county to participate in that if we chose to. I'm sure some did, some didn't. There were a lot of folks that said, oh, you'll never get anything out of that, but fortunately we have, and we can thank Morgan for that. She was part of the team that helped on behalf of all the state's counties to pursue that opportunity to participate. Some of the municipalities did as well. So you've heard a request for about $70,000 in funding for some specific equipment that is certainly needed and appropriate for the Sheriff's Department. What are your wishes?
I've
I'll
got
make
2
a motion.
questions.
Yes, grant, it's free, go after it.
Well, yeah, I'm that way too. I think the funding source is great, but I did ask Morgan. Of course, I think I have the answer, but I want her to tell the answer. First of all, I said, would it hold up in court? But we don't think we'd have to worry about that with it, because it'd be to protect the officer.
Right.
All right, and rest of it.
You asked if they would have to seek approval to be able to test the products. And we could look into that for you guys if you have the equipment. But I think I will reiterate that what I'm hearing is this is for officer safety, not necessarily to be used as evidence. I still think you're still dealing with all of the evidentiary processes that you're used to, but these products would be intended for officer
Just
safety
officer
purposes.
safety.
Yes, ma'am, they would test what they could on the side of the road. We know what it was, they know better how to handle it. They would still go through the evidence procedures of going to forensics for toxicology and drug ID.
Okay.
I have a question for the sheriff. You were telling the story about the state trooper, and he had to have,
8 Narcan vials, the little nose things, 8 of them.
And he still has issues remaining even after that.
are those being carried in our patrol cars?
Yes, we have Narcan.
We have them? Okay. I didn't know if they weren't, we could incorporate it in this. Okay. Do we have to pay for them? Okay. Thank you. Make a motion?
There is a motion. Is there a second? That we approve this requested purchase. There's a second by, by Michael. Questions from anyone else? Comments? All right, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, those are approved. Karen, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move next to K, which is, item K, which is going to come under Lynn's, primarily Lynn's department. Lynn, what do you have?
Part of
Karen and I
J
both
is-
looked at,
Part of J is also Lynn. He's got some equipment that he.
Okay, personal equipment. Okay. yeah.
Yes, it's.
yes,
Lynn.
matter of fact, I think the rest of them are mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You start under J or K, wherever you
Okay,
want.
Karen and I, we met with Verizon once on some new GPS. Y'all asked us to look at getting some new GPS equipment for the vehicles. In the meantime, I actually reached out to another company, Diversified Computer Services, Dan Floyd in Montgomery, and we did a Zoom call with them, looked at both products, and by far, I think, what I feel, I think Diversified Products is a better system for county purposes for what we have. The Verizon is a good system. Don't get me wrong; it's a very good system as well. Both are very well, are good, but I think the Diversified is more tailored more toward county work. They're about 4.5, I think less than $5 difference more per unit, and we're looking at about 70 or 75 units. We're looking at getting. That'll be for everybody else.
Other departments
have
as
them
well.
ahead with the old solar track.
So if there were 3 things you could share with us that this will do, not compared to others, but just what do you expect from this equipment other than?
This equipment is
pinpoint where they
more
are.
tailored toward, it's just more geared. Now, we signed 3, there's a contract with this one. Verizon, there was no contract, no hookup or anything like that. But if we do at least 3 years, we did longer than that with Solar Track, I feel this system is going to be just as, if not better, than what that was. But, for example, the pinging of it, and this is very similar to Verizon's, but for every deflection on a curve, every 10-degree deflection, it actually pings that location, so it tracks the curve really well. It also tracks anything with PTO, like a spray rig, like a bush hog, dump trucks, for where they dump dirt. We can know exactly where they're doing all this activity. It's a good tool we can use to
So-
track a lot of different things.
So if somebody comes to you and says, they needed to spray the side of my road, they didn't, you
Yeah.
can go back and tell if they did or didn't?
Yes.
Straight up, okay.
But like I said, a dump truck backs up and dumps a load of dirt. I know exactly where that load was dumped.
Okay.
A lot of geofencing capability, which everything pretty much has that now. But I do recommend the Diversified equipment.
What's the estimate per month?
It's 20. It's right at $20 a unit. Dan's was. Trying to see where it's at here. It'd be about 14,000, around $15,000
Per year.
per year. Yeah. Let me think that.
Because
It's
you'll pay,
It's $20 a unit.
times 70 is
Yeah.
1,400.
Yeah, about 17,000. It was still under the threshold. There'd be a threshold. That's now set to 30,000 since the
Okay, so
That
you've
went
heard the
to effect.
recommendation to go with the
diversified.
Diversified. You've seen the proposals, I guess, from both companies, and
Yes.
heard they've been analyzed. So, Commissioners, what are your wishes on that?
And this is just tracking, this is not camera.
No, I'm gonna buy some
That's separate.
some loop cameras in the trucks. I want to put those in.
Okay.
So
This, again, this is a service that we already have at some level. This is just some advancement.
I think it's gonna be a little more.
In the offering,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So it actually is a replacement of a current expense that we're
It
incurring.
about doubles at what the old one
Will
was.
there be an
These show-
app like we had with Solar Truck?
Yes.
That we can,
These show the speed and everything?
Yes.
And I will need to know if y'all want to do, if y'all do go with this company, if you want the 24 months, which is a annual basis billing, or 36 month, which is a monthly billing.
What are you recommending?
is there savings?
They both, I'll go and tell you the difference in the two real quick. You can do the 24 months. Month to month is customer pays for all device installation costs. Monthly services, $20 per unit device is billed on a monthly basis, no minimum term or commitment required. 12-month customer pays for a portion of device installation costs. Monthly services, $20 still, minimum 12-month term. 24 months device or installation included in monthly cost, but early termination fee applies. 36-month devices or installation costs included in monthly basis in monthly cost, but early termination still applies. Monthly fee still $20 and a minimum 36-month term contract. So personally, I would go with a 36-month. We're not out
So the
anything.
the recommendation is 36 months. And so what are your wishes, commissioners?
I will go with whatever one man likes.
I'll make a
He said
motion.
if it's a better product for us, but
Yeah, it's just had more. They're great. Both are great products. I mean, they both are. The only difference is, I think, Diversified is more tailored more toward county work. So,
There's a motion from Tommy. Is there a
I
second?
say,
Lynn, second. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that's approved.
next item, we're looking at consider. I need to solicit bids for seed and fertilizer. I think with the new bid law like it is with 30,000, we might not reach it, but I just want to go ahead and have one in place. We do a 6-month term on these, and it's just up for renewal, so we can. I'd like to get a new one in place. I just need to be able to solicit those bids.
make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions on this? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. So you have the authority to
All
request
right,
bids.
thank you on that. The next one is also since we got our new paint truck, I went Monday week, it was a week ago, I flew to Iowa and picked up a paint truck and drove it. Another coworker drove it all the way back from about 25 hours of driving. But we have a new paint truck, and we have a state bid for bids, but I want to get a local one here locally that we can actually be able to pick up, because it's not the 30 miles, it's in Greenville, so we got a very close source to get this stuff. And whoever else will want to bid on it. But I know Ozark Materials pretty much is probably going to be the vendor for that, but we need to get solicit bids and see where else comes in.
Motion.
So there's a motion to invite bids on that product. Is there a second? And hope you're surprised with a lot of good options on it from vendors. Any other questions on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, Mr. Hughes. What else?
Next one is our driveway policy. It's something we've been discussing over the last few months, and we just had a few, we kind of pretty much approved it, but there's a few little bit of language we want to change in it. I can go through the whole policy if you'd like me to, or?
We approved it. I think we're just announcing that it's being, that it has taken effect.
And what this is, a lot of people don't know as far as the paper goes, that the county road department has always put in driveway pipes. So you would call, we'd go out and size it, and the county crews would actually go out and actually install the pipes with dirt. You pay for the cost of the pipe. But now, with our manpower, we're just not getting a lot done. It's basically taking 2 crews a month to put these driveway pipes in, and it's not a good use of our men's time for what we're doing, for the general public. Driveway pipes are more for an individual. It doesn't affect the general public. So I recommend our time is more spent toward securing the roads for our general public.
The justification for it over the years has been that it's been on county rights of way. Again, you said it's for the benefit of that landowner, but it's been on the right of way, therefore we can justify doing the work. The proposal still means that we will maintain in perpetuity the pipe itself, so if
It's
there's
just
a
the
leak or
initial
whatever-
installation of the pipe, and we're still gonna maintain the driveways from that point on. You're still gonna get a service from the county.
So can the landowner call the county commission and ask for that service from you at a price, or no?
On, as
No.
far as the,
On the installation of a
no,
pipe?
we're out of the pipe, but we're gonna be out of the pipe
So
business.
effective August 1, you have to go to a private contractor to get
Yes,
the
and we
work
have a
done.
list, I have the policy here and the process to go through it. We'll still size the pipe, look at the location, make sure site distance issues and things of that nature, and get the size and length, and they'll contract. And it's a permit process. We'll keep track in the office, there'll be a permit number, and I've got that, the
So
literature here.
as the public becomes aware of it and reviews the regulations that you have, if there are questions, raise them with your commissioners. We certainly can bring it back for amending the procedures at a future date. But this is our first step.
And warranty by the contractor on the work.
Yes, there's a process, when we get final permanent vegetation, then we'll take it over. That's in the policy,
Okay.
so.
How far are y'all away from getting caught up on the ones you already had?
We're probably a month and we're still a good little bit out, because everybody rushed, they knew there was a lot of this was coming up, and a lot of people really poured on us with it, so
Okay.
there's a lot of pipes.
Lynn, under item J, I think Karen said that you probably had some equipment that you were going to ask for
Yes.
other than what we've already covered.
Yeah, I missed that one, I apologize, I started at K. Yeah, we're looking at getting, we've looked at Kubota and John Deere as far as a new mower, tractor. And we looked at both, and we looked at, actually Ron and I went yesterday down to Southeast Kubota yesterday to our Southern Equipment Co. down here, here in town, looked at their shop, talked to their shop guy, talked about his certifications and things of that nature as far as service on the end. And both are great tractors. We've already purchased one for the arena, but I'm thinking I'm going to go with I request on the first item I have is the tractor, and I request we go with the Kubota. This will be off the Sourcewell bid.
So it's on bid.
It's on bid, and it's right at $21,000 cheaper, $21,012 cheaper than the John Deere that we're looking at. That's comparable. It was a 6120M, and we're looking at a M6 131 Kubota. And there's right at $21,000 difference in price, so it's cheaper, and I think we should be able to get the same service out of the machine. So
Is that something you'll order and it'll take a while to deliver, or is it on?
I don't think it'll take that long. We'll just have to get it. I have to get with Jeff and them down here at Kubota to get it going. So,
I'd like to mention, this was replacing a tractor that burnt, that we've
Yes.
got insurance settlement on it, so there will be a difference in price that we will have to come up with, but part of that, we did get $60,000 for the other tractor that burnt,
The insurance. What's the purchase price?
$60,000 just for the tractor or the bush
just for
hog?
the tractor.
I agree that the base, like, you gotta compare apples to apples. The base price for the M6 131 Kubota was $95,500.
So we're looking at about 35,000.
But now that is the base tractor. Now I'm looking at getting a loader bucket for each one, because I compared each piece of equipment to make sure we're comparing apples to apples on it. So the base tractor Kubota, base tractor John Deere, there's about, like I said, about $21,000 difference in price.
Okay.
But with the loader and all, that comes up to about $108,670 for the loader. Now, we won't use a loader.
So you're talking about 48,000 above what you got insurance on the other one, but we have to replace it if we're going to get these rights of way caught up. So.
But now the loader we'll use sometimes we won't. Like I said, it's coming on the road. But as far as the resale value, that tractor's, the value is so much higher with that bucket on that tractor. So just like a four-wheel drive and a pickup, you're gonna get more value out on the end when you go to sell it.
Okay, so you've heard the request. Anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Lynn?
All right, there's other two items.
Let's vote on that one first. Any other questions for Lynn on that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, that's approved. Now what?
All right, the other two items, we're looking at getting two additional bush hogs, the two rhinos, and that's off the state bid for right-of-way bush hogging. That's off the state, and Koblenz is the vendor that has that state contract.
So it's rotary cutters, Rhino brand.
Rhino
that
brand,
you're
it's 15-foot
proposing,
batwing bush hogs.
and it's off of the state bid.
It's off the state bid.
Again, how much is the price? 50?
Those are 26,000 a piece and some odd. They're, excuse me, 25,623.92
Okay.
is the price on those.
And one of those is replacing one that burnt?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So that'll get us up and running with 4 good bush hogs and then and tractor with the small 5-foot bush hog to come back and cut.
I know all of you want to see those right-of-ways mowed, so is there a motion to?
And we're going just as hard as we can. We're working a lot of Fridays to get this done. And we've done a lot of spraying too. We've been spraying to help combat a lot of these weeds, so.
Motion?
Motion, yes.
Second?
Second.
Lynn?
All right, thank you all on that
Questions?
one.
Anybody else have a question or comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that's.
Before you start on your next, will you give us an update on what is going on with our bush hogs?
We're down in the south part. We've made our way all the way from over to 331, all the way down. We're at the op area, and we kind of came across Red Oak. We worked a few Fridays to catch. I know Red Oak Road was really bad. North Creek Road was pretty bad. And they're down. They were there yesterday on Steel Pond, working their way. They're already back now toward the wing area. They're working their way back toward the wing. And all they got left, I don't have a picture of the county, but basically they're working from 137 to 29 is that last little block is what they're working on.
And what you're working with is one good bush hog.
Oh, there's two good. There's two going right now.
But one of
yes.
those you had to repair and put back in service.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
on its last
I think you
leg.
got
But
32 too.
So
Yeah,
rather
we're
than
replacing a lot of bearings in that one.
rather than having 4 like we normally do, we're down to 2.
But we're gonna get the two that we're person will get us
Right.
up
But I
and
just
going
want
forward.
everybody that listens to this to understand.
Yeah.
We're
But now, even like saying with the roadway policy, I can take a lot of these crews that was doing driveways can now get on the bush hog. So there's a lot more need. That's what I'm saying. It's more need for the county as a whole. Like I said, I'm not trying to take away from citizens, because what we did was a good thing for citizens, for individuals. But when it comes to the county,
as a whole.
person as a whole, us getting on a tractor is going to do more benefit for everybody than just one person or a family. So.
So we're struggling right now with 2, trying
Yeah.
to keep up. And
Yeah, and we're working Fridays, and we're working
Exactly.
a lot
We're
to
doing
get
everything we
things.
can.
Yeah, we're doing everything we can right now, so.
And they've been in the south end of the county.
All right.
They're spraying.
Passed.
So they-
All right. What else, Lynn?
The
Maybe
next one,
award
I
some
got
bids?
some awards to bid. We put out 2 bids for gravel and rock, and we only got the 1 bid in for that.
Okay.
And I request that we give it to that bidder. It is Stacy Construction LLC. They're based out of Monroeville, Alabama. And what this is 57 and pea gravel, and then a mixture of both is what we have. So, I request we accept
20,
this bid.
25, 50 a yard, is that pretty competitive with where we have been, or? is
Yeah,
it-
that's basically a
Okay.
ton,
Okay.
so that's a good price.
So, the recommendation is to award the bid to the bidder.
Yes.
And it's a reasonable price. Is there a
Yes.
motion?
Motion.
Second, Lynn. Questions by this side? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
And
sign.
we've had a rock shortage for
And you're not
months.
gonna get it before
Well,
mine does.
the difference with our rock shortage, and we have a shortage, because unfortunately, you have bogs and boulders, and you have Mohawk down there in Florella. And that is limestone, but it's also weather dependent. If it rains, then they can't really do a whole lot down there. They can't really shake a lot. It is limestone. I mean, it's not a true hard granite rock. So it is weather limiting on when we can get it.
So we're gonna continue to use that.
We're gonna still
but
continue
this
to
is a
use
new
that product, but
on
this
an
gives us an
additional
option when
product.
we
Okay.
generally have to go to Birmingham to get a load, where I can go to get 3 loads a day over from Monroeville versus going to get one load a day in Birmingham.
And it's considerably cheaper than the rock
Yes.
you're paying for in Clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next item is on, looks like bridge components.
Bridge components, again, we had just the 1 bid, and I recommend we give it to Connected Bridge and Engineering, but this was for our Structure 86, what I call the Guile West Bridge, the next bridge we're getting ready to build right now. Through our flat program on that grant that we had for it, and that total is a smaller 48-foot bridge. It's a little 2-span 48-foot bridge. The total cost is $96,968.17. So I recommend we
Did they set it in place, or your crew sets?
No, they-
Spans in
they
place?
haul it down here and we set it in place.
You said it?
Yes.
All right, so we need to award this bid, and again, it's funded through the flap grant program, so is there a motion to award the bid as recommended? I heard a motion and a second.
Yep.
Anything else?
Mumbling on that side.
That's all right, we got it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that's approved. What else, Lynn?
I'd consider surplus of equipment. This is some of our right-of-way equipment. It's our 180 EW Volvo wheeled excavator with a cutting head. The head is not really designed. We thought it was going to be doing a lot better, but we've had a lot of issues with that head. And the service life of that excavator, as far as getting our money back out of it, I think it's a good time to get a good salvage value out of that piece of equipment.
So you're asking us to declare it surplus and then allow you to sell it on bid,
Yes.
on auction?
Both of them.
Where?
There's one other, but I was going to get the
All right.
180 first.
Where are you proposing to?
We can do it either place. We can do it gov deals or wood auction.
Is
either way.
Wood, does Wood have an auction coming up?
They do.
In the near future, that
They
would
do.
work for us? I would recommend that we do it on Wood unless there's something else that pops up to change your mind. You said you have another piece of equipment also?
Also, we have our Mower Max. We've had it for several years now. We've had a few issues. It actually, we had a wiring issue that actually caught the machine on fire. Luckily, we were able to salvage the machine. It just burned kind of on the hood, but it burned a lot of wires on it. I think we need to get it going as well.
Seems like the last 2 years, those
Yeah,
machines have been down.
But they're doing the work they're doing is basically pulpwooding. I would say that, and they're not really designed for that. But our right of ways are, and you see a lot of our right of ways. We're doing a lot of work on them, but again, with our new crews coming in, we can actually work on that now. Since we got another free hand, so. But those are the two pieces. That's the other piece that needs to.
Would
needs to
that
be
piece of
surplus.
equipment sell at Wood as well? Or
Yes, sir, it
okay,
would.
So
It would.
what are your wishes, Commissioners?
Send 'em
If
on.
we can get all with wood, I would,
Yeah.
I heard a recommendation, a motion from Kenneth. Is there a second?
yes.
To sell at Wood auction, declare surplus, sell at Wood auction.
And we still, and
Any
also
other
the head, although the head's a component of the wheeled excavator, but it is a separate unit number.
Everything, all right, everything that was mentioned there.
Yeah, and it's the 2019 Mower Max, excuse me, the Indeco, 2022 Indeco head,
All right.
drum style head.
So we have a motion and a second. Anything else? If not, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, that's approved. What else? Lynn?
The other one is our Murray Cross Road. I've met with some landowners recently,
Wake up.
and I've had an agreement with the landowners to purchase we're going to purchase, they didn't want to donate the property. It's going to total right at 4 acres. I can't give you the exact, I know one landowner is right at 1.87 acres, the other one's around 2 acres. I just don't have that exact number for it, but it's around 4 acres of property. So we'll purchase that equipment, that land. I'll get right-of-way deeds prepared, and then we can, and they've agreed to it.
Okay.
I'll get them to sign a letter saying they agree to it, and then we can get the right-of-way deed signed for that project.
Make sure with Morgan that we step through all the hoops
I will.
that we need to.
I will.
So is that just a report, or do you need action from us on something relative?
Well, just consider the
reporting?
acquisition, because we're going to have to pay, we're going to cut a check to these
So
landowners.
is there a motion to approve the acquisition of right-of-way based on that conversation with the landowner?
Motion.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. What else, Lynn?
That's it, I think, is what I had on this. Now, just an update on our projects. 107 still coming on pretty good. I'm waiting on some filter fabric to come in so we can finish our riprap ditches on that project. They're getting getting ready to grass. We're waiting for this rain to come through today, and after that, we're going to regrass the new area and the old area where we needed some grass on it. We're on that portion. I'm also working on, we just got through working on W. Coleman Road. We've got it ready to pave. The road's already in place. This road was already in place. It didn't need much work. We just had to move up there. We've gotten on 107 far enough to get a pan up there, and we've worked the road with another motor grader. The motor grader's still committed to that 107 job. I got another one that's working these other ones, these other roads. But I'm doing this one. I've got W. Coleman, And I've got Brogden Road, they're working on Brogden today. It's another road that doesn't need to require a lot of work to get ready for paving. The W. Covington Road comes off of our rebuild money from District 2. That was a road that's been set up for a long time to be paved. The second road, which is Brogden and I think it's Ridgeview Drive, or Circle, that'll come out of Tommy's District 4's Commissioner's ARPA funds that y'all set aside for projects.
Okay.
Also, the
Kenneth has a little bit of his discretionary money left too, if he wants to help.
I'll take it.
but we've also, we spent, which I don't know if I told, we've had a break in commission meetings, but I can't remember. We did finish Spanish Trail. That was some of his ARPA money as well.
Okay.
That was a mile-long road, and we still have a little bit of money left in his ARPA funds.
Good.
And then we're doing, but back on Tommy's, we're doing Brogden, Ridgeview Drive, Wagon Wheel Road. And I've already talked to one of the board members with the water department. They're going to move, because that line is kind of in the road there on Wagon Wheel. And I'm moving there probably next after we get these two
So when
worked
you
out.
move that, it'll go to the right of way, right? It won't be on.
It's
the
already a
road.
platted subdivision. All these, Coleman, all
I'm
those.
talking about the water line. That will no longer be in the road.
It won't be in the road. It'll still be within the right of way. It just won't be in the road. Yeah.
All right.
But Brogden, Wagon Wheel, and also we're looking at getting Pruitt Road, which is right there at Dunn's Bridge. We're going to work on that one as well to get it ready to pave.
Okay.
I've talked to the contractor, and we can probably get two of these dirt roads, W. Coleman and Brogden, probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I feel we can probably get those things probably taken care of in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Very good.
So, but like I said, mowing, we're spraying, or they's hitting dirt roads now on our spraying as well, because weeds are bad on dirt roads as well. Like I know you heard the gentleman from the Sutter Farm area down there was talking about that. So, that's where we're on those, and we have but we have applied for additional funding for the ADM Clean Water State Revolving Fund. There was $3 million left in that fund. We already applied for our grant match before our grant we could ask for was $150,000, but this time I shot the moon. We're asking for I think $107,000 in funds for that to take care of some more of the pipe replacements that we have.
They will be successful in obtaining that.
The deadline is the 11th of this month, but I got it turned in on the 3rd. Because they said first come, first served. So I try to get in as quick as we could to receive those funds if they're available.
Anybody opposed to pursuing these grant funds? No. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful we got a department, all of our departments, not just this, but all of our departments pursue grants and do all they can to make themselves efficient, I thank all of them.
Absolutely. Tom?
Knowing that with the land acquisition, we're gonna try to push that through as quickly as possible. Once that's done, will we be starting?
Yeah, we'll start clearing and grubbing. Yeah, we'll
moving
start on
dirt
that.
at Crossing Murray?
We'll start getting the roads brought in. Yeah, we're gonna start roughing those roads in. Absolutely.
Based on your previous experience with acquiring right-of-way, how long do you think it'll take to get the right-of-way?
Well, I'll get Miss Morgan and we'll get this knocked out here pretty quick. So, I got Rainier. I still have Rainier to talk to, and I've reached out. I can't ever catch them at their
So
office.
we've approved the purchase. Is there anything that has to come back before the commission for a vote, or we can just?
I think as long as if you are good with the acquisition,
Should be fine.
we should be fine.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you, Lynn.
All right, thank you all.
Any other staff reports from those of you that have hung with us? Media, do you have
Have we heard
questions?
anything on our CATS buses?
Everything's going good.
Have been up about our new buses we were talking about getting?
No,
Still
delay.
nothing?
State basically said, please don't ask anymore, we'll let you know as soon as they're available. They're removing 3 at a time,
So,
gathering
same.
right now.
Don't ask.
We're still on.
Okay. Commissioners, anything else from y'all?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I knew. This was one thing that I just want to mention, and another thing, okay. At some point, I wanted Susan to be in here because I know the concern's still here about the handicap area at the courthouse has got to be made compliant to the standards that have been set that we've not done. And that's been going on a pretty good while. And the only other thing I have to say is we have the Alabama Pecan Growers Association coming to visit Covington County on Thursday, Mr. Michael, since you're supposed to be in that. But they're going to do a tour of Covington County. I think that's really great to have them here. So if you see some strangers out walking around,
They're not with the.
they're
solar
not with
farm.
the solar farm.
All right. Anybody else have anything?
I got about 30, 40 pecan trees.
That's what I'm talking about.
Carrie, do you have anything?
I do not.
Ms. Morgan, you have anything? You want us to adjourn? All right, based on her wishes, we stand adjourned. Thank you.